I don't know if you were going to stay in there or be thumbnail.
I'm back, guys. Welcome to the show, guys. Hey, this is Terry with NSPS TV Paranormal Podcast. And tonight, guys, we're back in the Lion's Den. So, hey, you know what the Lion's Den is all about, dude. It's an open book. So, but with that being said, let me do some quick shout outs to everybody and show everybody some love and all the support that I've been getting over the last couple of years. With that being said, all you guys that are streaming live with me on 11 different platforms, 2 of them are international. So all you guys over there in Tokyo, Japan, and all you guys that are over there in the UK, welcome to the show. Either it's late or either it's early over there. I'm pretty sure it's pretty late in the UK, and I'm pretty sure it's pretty early in Tokyo. But anyway, hey, welcome to the show, guys. If you guys have an opportunity, come check me out. Please do so. But all you guys on Kick, Rumble, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and all those other platforms that are streaming this particular podcast, welcome also. I appreciate all your support and all your love. And hey, big shout out to my Ducks yesterday, man. What a great win. I appreciate and I love you guys. Hey, and let's get on to Oregon State, man. We got one more game before we go to Happy Valley, and I can't wait for that. But hey, I want to get some tickets and fly up there for that game, but I don't think my job will let me do it. But anyway, guys, guess where I'm at? I am in the state of Missouri. I've been there, maybe 4 times visiting paranormal investigators. Some of these guys are really cool, man. Got a lot of amazing stories to tell. So, but with that, hey, I hope that continues. But with that being said, I'd like to introduce this team that I am talking to tonight. I'm trying to see if I can get this name right. Is it Sedalia?
Sedalia.
Sedalia, Missouri. You know what? I'm going to call a friend of mine because he was born and raised in Missouri, and he graduated from Mizzou. And I get on him all the time, man. Yeah, man, I didn't even know Mizzou even existed. I didn't even know they had a university. And every time I say that, he gets mad at me. But anyway, he's a good friend of mine. Actually, he's a part of the paranormal team. So, but with that being said, guys, welcome to the show. I appreciate you taking out of your busy Sunday to come visit and chat with me. Let's just have some fun with this, But with that being said, please introduce yourself to the world.
I'm Charisse. I'm the case manager.
I'm Britt. I'm the lead investigator, I guess you could say.
And I'm Dave. I'm the tech manager for the group.
All right. Well, hey, guys. Well, welcome to the show. Man, like I say, I really appreciate you guys joining me. I know you guys were kind of hesitant to come on the show, but hey, I pulled some strings. I pulled some strings to get you guys on. But with that being said, tell me a little bit about your organization and how you guys came to be, and better yet, why you guys came to be.
Okay. Well, our team started 21 years ago. We started in 2004, and it was kind of an interesting occurrence. Cherise and I were both working at the middle school here in Sedalia. I was a music teacher, and she was a paraprofessional. And she approached me one day about some activity that they had in their house and knew that I was interested in the paranormal and would I come over and check it out. So on the Saturday following that, I went to her house. David was not there at the time. And I was talking to Cherise. They have a house that was built in 1896. It's a Queen Anne or Victorian. And as I was talking to Cherise, her two daughters were standing on the stairway, which was to my left.
Mm-hmm.
I kept talking, and I glanced over, and all of a sudden there were three kids standing on the stairs. Didn't think anything of it. Thought maybe it was a friend that had been upstairs, came down. Didn't think anything of it. Kept talking to Cherise. Looked again a little later, and that third child was gone. Well, still didn't really register anything. So we made plans on when we could actually do an investigation. I left. I came home, told my wife, right about that. So I saw Cherise at school on Monday, and I said, did the girls have a friend over Saturday afternoon when I was there? And she said, no. And I said, well, there was a third child on the stairway at least part of the time. So I described what the child looked like. It appeared to be a boy, probably about 5 or 6, dark hair. Could not see anything lower than waist level. And Cherise said that was one of the entities that they had been seeing over there. So saw something at the time and didn't even realize what I was seeing. And their house is very active. It remains active to this day.
And we're still there.
And they're still there.
Yep.
So with that, we decided, okay, we need to form a team. And that's how Sedalia Ghost Hunters got started.
Interesting. Okay. The little kid.
Yeah.
Do y'all know anything about the little kid? Where he's from, his name, or?
Well, when we moved into the house, my oldest daughter was a little over 2. And she started talking to somebody and playing with somebody. And at first I thought, the imaginary friend, a normal process. Mm-hmm. But I had kind of felt things in the house too, but hadn't really, put a finger on it. And when I would ask her, she would just tell me her. Okay. So I waited. Well, then pretty soon after this started, I would walk into a room, per se, like the upstairs bedrooms and the closets would slam shut. Throughout the house, I would walk in and lights or the TV or something would be affected. I would hear mommy thinking she had called my name, but she hadn't. And so I finally, would ask about her, and all I would get was her. And I thought, all right. Well, I thought the imaginary friend until things started happening to me. And as it was, a neighbor that moved in after we had, I found out that her sister had lived in our house. And I got the nerve to ask her one day. I said, you're going to think I'm crazy, but I know your sister lived in our house. Did she ever have? And before I can finish, she looked at me really funny and she said, oh, then it's still happening. Okay, you just answered my question. And at the time, her daughter was about 17, but when they lived there previous, her daughter was about 7. And she said kind of the same thing. Her sister had that happen to her, but then things started happening to her sister like me. And at first, her daughter wouldn't stay the night with her cousin, and they would get on to her, telling her she was making things up because she would say, well, I don't want to spend the night. She won't let me sleep. She wants to play. Well, she was, no, quit making that up. Well, she wasn't, because then, like me, she had stuff, happening to her. And I had her describe what she saw as far as what the child looked like or age, and it matched. And then later, when our youngest child was born, she had notebooks where she was drawing pictures of her. Only she called her Blue. And I tried to figure out why she called her blue, and she said when she saw her, she looked like she was wet or cold. Well, I never told her that what we think happens to the child is that she drowned. So
Mm.
she had no way to know that. My oldest daughter, I asked about the little boy, and because when she started telling me things, I never told her, oh, quit making things up. Whatever. I believe children have not been told that's not real. And quit making things up. They're telling the truth. I believe for the most part, what they see is what they see. They haven't been taught
Mm-hmm.
it's bad or any negative attributed to that. So I would just talk to Kate, my oldest daughter, just naturally. What's her name? When the little boy appeared, I said, Kate, does Autumn have a playmate? Yeah. Well, what's his name? John. And I said, well, how old is John? 7. And I said, well, where does John live? Well, here. So, so I would just talk very matter of fact to them. So they never felt like they had to hide anything. They were making anything up. So it's natural. They never felt, okay, I'm going to, she's going to think I'm crazy or I'm lying or,
Mm-hmm.
so we just talk, and I found out her finally because I was giving Kate, because she was still, like I say, 2, giving her a bath, and we were upstairs, and the bathroom door was open, and she looks through the door and she says, "It's okay, Autumn. Daddy's home." And I said, "Autumn?" And she went, "Yeah, her." Like, you idiot,
Oh wow, that is crazy. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna ask you guys a bunch of questions, and feel free to be. I want you guys to be open with me, and I want you guys to be. Just tell me what you think from your heart, and what and if it causes a debate, I welcome it. I love a great debate. You know what I'm saying? And if I say something that you guys might disagree with, just let me know, and we can carve it. Hey, that's another reason for a debate. Because I'm curious to know what you guys are about, just as much as you guys are curious to know what I'm about. And
Yep.
that's how a good conversation starts.
Yep.
So with
Exactly.
that being said, is first question number 1 is we're gonna stick with the children. Uh Children are very interesting individuals. If I had the mind, I'm not going to say the mind of a child, I'm going to say the curiosity of a child, where everything is pure within them. And I can be an adult and I'm able to visualize and see things that kids can see, but from an adult point of view. I think that would be very amazing because it seems like more spirits are attracted to children. And I'm not saying that sometimes, children are not naturally, children are attracted to children because that's who they want to play with. But every now and then, you might get an adult spirit that wants to communicate with the child for some reason or not, that it seems like adult spirits somehow, some way can tell things to a child that you cannot tell an adult. Somehow, some way, children of a significant age can understand a little bit more than what adult children, than what adult people can do. Do you guys agree or disagree with that?
Well, we have an adult spirit as well, who I don't know if his name is Alexander, but that's what we call him. Um, my youngest daughter has always been quite sensitive, like I talked about her drawing the photos and talking about Autumn, but she talked about an adult too, who we call Alexander. Her room is her closet is the attic entrance. And at one point, we do know that an adult died in the house while he was trying to finish the attic to make it into another space. He died of a heart attack or heat exhaustion. and her room is near that entrance. So she has seen him from the time we were there too, other than just the children.
Yeah, man.
I think that children are naturally more open, which is why they get communicated with a lot more. They can see things that I think the rest of us that have already been exposed to the world and society as a whole have been told these can't exist. They're not real. Where most children, they just see and say exactly what they see. So they're very open to it. And I think that's why a lot of them are able to communicate with entities and whatnot that some of us aren't able to.
Right. And I think there's when it comes to children and they're going through this, there's no lying in kids when they actually have that, when they see things like that. A lot of parents, when they kids like, hey, mommy, there's somebody like, dude, go back to bed. There ain't nobody in there. Parents don't want to take that 2 minutes of time to go check or have that or have that talk with the child, to see what's actually going on in their head. And and I understand this day and age, everything is so fast going. You got this going on in your life, you got that going on in your life. But dude, it's always best if a child comes to you or your kid comes to you and tells you, hey, there's something going on in my room. Don't take it and just say, hey, okay, well, you just don't want to go to bed. No, go and investigate. Figure things out. Even if it takes you multiple days to do that, kids are not going to come with you and just say that for no reason.
Yeah.
On some investigations, because like I say, Emmy's investigated with us and she's grown up with never being told, you're imagining things. There's some of our cases that have involved children, she's talked to them because she can relate. And once they find out, she'll see her as an adult now, but they know she'll talk to them and say, it's okay. From when I was your age, I had experiences too. And that sometimes helps because they see an adult who's grown up experiencing things they have, and it's okay.
Yeah,
it's easier to open up then.
Yeah, I totally agree with you guys on that. It's easier to open up to a child than to an adult. Who are you going to believe more? Like, wow, damn, dude. Yeah, I've been down that road before. My first son had a friend named, I can't remember his name, and I'm like, okay, let me see what's going on here. I'll sit in his room for like 30 minutes to an hour and just to see, how he sleep, how his sleep, how he sleep, and is he tossing and turning? Is he getting up? There's many different things you can play with when, your child is telling you something like that. I urge everybody to at least check it out. Whether you believe in it or not, check it out. It won't hurt. It won't hurt you. It won't harm you. But better safe than sorry.
Yep, that's right. And ask questions.
Yes. Always ask questions. The best thing to do, and I always tell people that come on my show, ask why. Kids do it all the time.
Yeah.
That is the most used word I've ever seen a kid use. Between a certain age. Why?
And that should continue into being an adult because you never know. Always ask why.
Yeah, why? And but the thing is, when we get to a certain level in our adulthood, we quit asking why. We quit. Yeah. And I will ask why forever to the day I die, because knowledge is key. Yeah. Knowledge is key to the universe.
The only way you're going to find the answers is by asking why.
That's the only way. If you don't ask, can you imagine a world where nobody asks why? How do you
That'd be
think
a
this
boring
world will be?
world.
Yeah, wouldn't be much of a world.
We always try to ask questions just because we try to look at different possibilities. We may
Yes.
start, well, like our last investigation we started kind of one angle and things, kind of changed. Okay, then maybe it's this. So you're not too tunnel vision.
Yeah, you're not stuck
open.
in one way of thinking. You're open to many different possibilities.
And what's your name, sir? The one that just said many different possibilities?
Dave.
Dave. I wish more people would think like that. I really do. Because I've talked about this a million times on my podcast. There are so many of us in the paranormal community complains. Excuse me if my language get a little bad. They complain. They talk shit. Excuse my language. Because I don't get this evidence, man. This place ain't haunted. This bull crap. Hey, I spent so amount of money, into this, and I get nothing out of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dude, first of all, number one is, what are you bringing to the table that would allow that would allow these spirits to want to communicate with you? What are you bringing to the table?
Right.
If you're not bringing nothing to the table and the spirits are seeing that, then they're not going to communicate with you. That's the way I see it in my book.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
especially if you're not showing respect to them.
Yeah.
Yes.
You walk in like this is my house, not yours. kind of attitude.
Well, we're going to get to that RESPCT word in a minute. But yeah, and I always tell people, dude, I've always had the best evidence on my investigations is when I bring something different to the table.
Yeah.
Right.
Always. I've never been disappointed when I bring something different. And I'm not saying I'm not saying I'm better than the paranormal investigator down the street. But I am bringing something outside of that box.
Yeah.
If you're not bringing something outside of that box, then whose fault is it?
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's one reason why I'm very proud of this team. We keep an open mind to everything. If we find something, that's great. If we don't find something, okay, that's great too.
Yeah.
This most recent investigation that Sharice just mentioned, it's very, very interesting. A year ago, we had an investigation just outside of Sedalia here, and the claims were that the people that lived there thought that at one time a child had been put in a well, and they thought that was what was causing the activity, mainly outside, not in the house, but outside. Well, we kind of went a different route with it because there was a very bad accident not too far from there, like within a quarter of a mile. And the lady that had the car accident, she got burned up in the car. And there were people there, but they couldn't get her out. So we think that probably has triggered some activity in the area because we had a cold wind outside that came up for no reason. It was warm. It was warm weather when we did it. And a cold wind came up for about 5 minutes and just a very noticeable change in the temperature. We had a light in a field across the road from us where about level with a person, and then it went straight up about 10, 12 feet, and then it disappeared. So this investigation we had just a couple of weeks ago was in that same area. The accident happened probably about an eighth of a mile away. So that's how we started the investigation. We thought, okay, well, it's probably having to do with that accident.
And she was one of the persons that saw the lady burn and couldn't get her out.
The wife that lived there. So we took that angle first, but then things started kind of happening that we thought, and from the stories they told us, for instance, the daughter experienced somebody or something getting into bed with her,
Mm-hmm.
up against her, and something under the bed. So we asked the family, because they talked about a family dog that had passed away in the past year. Well, we thought, could it be the dog?
Okay.
So we went that angle. We moved some of our equipment. I had
Used a stuffed animal.
used a stuffed animal as a trigger object. Talked to the wife. She talked to the dog like she used to, and we started getting all kinds of stuff. Our motion sensor lights went off. We would get hits on our
Stuffed
EMF
toy.
meter. The stuffed toy did that. The wife and I were in the bedroom where the daughter had said something got in bed with her, and we saw a light, a very faint light, move from the end of the bed to the closet. And so that was our first experience, we think, with an animal spirit.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was very, very interesting.
You know, because a lot of people, and I don't know if paranormal investigators look for stuff like that, but there's not a lot of records on paranormal investigators investigating animal hauntings.
Mhm.
And I don't know why, because
Animals
they
have souls too.
Yeah,
Animals
they got
have souls
souls too.
So why couldn't it happen?
Yeah. We were at Missouri State Pen, and we're with a group of other investigators, and my husband was in front of me, and I kept telling him I kept feeling something on my arm, like brushing up against my arm. We were sitting down in chairs, and the other group, he was trying to get their attention. They weren't paying attention, and this happened several times. And then I looked, like third time I felt it, and what I saw was a dog. And I was like, okay. So when we got back to the original spot with the custodians of the prison, they had gone through like a history tour. They gave you a little bit of information when they walked you around the prison before you started. But I'm like, I don't remember them saying anything about a dog. So I asked him, I said, this is going to sound really strange, but did the prison have a dog that was, beloved by the inmates, a guard or something? And they looked at me really funny. And they said, we don't talk about the dog. But he's buried out there. And they said, what kind was he? And so I described him, and they said, yeah, that's the dog. Well, I guess the prisoners had trained this dog to run things in between them while he was alive. So it was beloved by the inmates.
Oh, wow,
so
interesting.
He's buried. But they said, and I said, well, why don't we talk about the dog? And they said, well, someone complained that we needed to talk just about the inmates and not mention the dog. Like, that wasn't an important thing to mention on the tour. But they said, so we don't tell anybody about the dog. So you would have, had no idea. But what you described, that is the dog. So
wow.
It was strange. Everyone was saying,
I
saw a dog.
I think more people need to look into that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's not been a lot done in the field when it relates to that, but open possibilities like we talked about earlier. I mean, animals have souls just like humans do, so why not look into it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it, because a lot of people look at their animals as loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
Son, daughter, they look at them as, hey, I can't have kids, so this is my kid here.
This particular dog, it was getting sick, and they knew that it probably wouldn't last very long. So what they did, they moved the mattress that the girl sleeps on in her bed. They moved that mattress into their bedroom, put it on the floor, and that's what the dog died on, was that mattress.
They slept around him.
And they slept around him like 24 hours a day. They just kept watch over him. And so that's the mattress that the daughter sleeps on now in her room. So there's probably a lot attached to that.
Yeah, there's probably a lot going on. You're a music teacher, right?
Yes.
And how long have you been a music teacher?
Well, I retired a few years ago, but I taught over 30 years. So with
Over
what I'm
30
doing now
years.
with some music things, it's over 40.
Wow. You know, music, people don't look at music like like it don't play a big factor in the paranormal community. I think music plays a huge factor in the paranormal community.
Yeah.
Okay,
let's-
I got a story for you.
Actually, two without location.
Okay. Some years ago, we had the privilege of investigating the Villisca Axe Murder House in Villisca,
Mhm.
Iowa. Mecca for paranormal teams. Okay, so we were there. This was late in the evening, and most everybody was sitting around in a circle on the floor in the parlor, as they would have called it back then. The
David
parlor.
and I weren't there on this.
They weren't
one.
there on this investigation, unfortunately, because this was a good one. And we've been getting a lot of hits on the EMF meters and things like that through the evening. So there's an old upright grand piano in the parlor, and me being the musician, so I get on the piano and I start playing some old hymns, and then went to like songs that were popular around 1912 when all this bad stuff happened there. And one of the songs that I played was "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." Yeah. Okay, so the investigators are sitting around singing, and it's probably good that we don't have the actual recording of that because they were not good singers. But anyway, we did "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," and when we got to the point in the song where it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out, all of the EMF meters, my tri-field meter, on 1, 2, 3 went. Bzz, bzz, bzz.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
We all kind of sit around and look at each other, going, they've got rhythm.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was the coolest thing.
And then
You know,
some years later, we went back and we were together again. Only David and I and my daughter were with us, and she sat down and played for Elise. Well, we had things set up in the downstairs bedroom where the guest girls had stayed that night.
Mhm.
And all the equipment, and she played for Elise, and all the equipment in that room started going off.
Mm-hmm.
She stopped, tried another song, nothing. Someone else got on and played, nothing. And I said, play for Elise again. See, so she got back on, played the song, and again everything started going off. Only to that
wow.
song, and only with her playing it, kind of like with Fred.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think music, and I'll tell people this all the time, music is the key to the universe.
Yeah.
We
If
use
it's not
music a lot.
knowledge, it's music, because music is universal. It's something everybody can relate to.
Yeah.
No matter if
Something
you're on
everybody
Mars,
connects with.
yeah, it doesn't matter if you're on Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, or whatever planet you're on. I guarantee you somebody's jamming.
Yeah.
We do play period music a lot if we know that period. We've been known to try to use that, and we do usually get some reaction.
But I'll tell
Yeah,
you what, dude,
We got
guys,
reaction years ago at a VFW hall that we investigated that used to be a dance hall during the war, and we played some music
40s.
from the 1940s, and we're getting a lot of reactions on our equipment while we were playing the music. So
yeah.
it's something that it can connect across not just generations, but I think across, to the paranormal side of things.
Yeah,
as well.
I think it can cross planes. I think it can cross from one plane to another, because it's something that everybody understands. It's something that everybody listened to at one point.
Yeah,
Another,
and it's recognizable.
It's
another form
recognizable.
of communication.
Yeah.
But
well, when they sent Voyager, the
Mhm.
Voyager spacecraft out, the gold record that they put on it had all kinds of different styles of music, so that whoever found it would hear that. And scientists have proved that the universe resonates on a particular pitch, and I believe it's a B flat. And so, yeah,
interesting. I know just literally 5 minutes from here. This is a crazy story, guys. 5 minutes from here, there is a heritage center for seniors. They shut down. They knocked it down, but that's totally that is weird within itself. We went and investigated that place. And I don't even know why they knocked it down because they had the most beautiful ballroom, black and white checkers. I don't know if you guys ever seen anything like that.
Yeah.
And I went in there. Everybody else was in there, so I walked in. I was like, "Oh my god, dude!" It stunned me. And I'm like, "Dude, are they want to knock this place down after I'm seeing this big ballroom when I'm pretty sure they've had hundreds of festivals and dance, whatever that they call them." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, something hit me." I'm like, "Well, dude, let's put on some music. Let's think about the era where these guys actually the type of music they listen to."
Mm-hmm.
And I know it wouldn't be today's music or 90s music or 80s music or better yet 70s and 60s.
Yeah.
So we went back to the 50s. Dude, we put on some Little Richard and man, it went the K2 light up and stuff. I like, oh my God, dude, this is unbelievable. It seemed like the room just got festive.
Yeah.
It went from cold to like some kind of warm, like everybody was in a good space.
Yeah.
And I went outside, and I kid you not, guys. If you sing Good Golly Miss Molly, that song is gonna stick in your head. Good Golly Miss Molly. And it's just one of those songs that even though, and I guarantee you, once you guys get off of here, you guys are gonna be singing that song. And I went outside and I was singing that song, and I heard this faint voice in my ear singing that song, singing Good Golly Miss Molly. And at the time that I heard it, I turned around and I'm like, who is that? But nobody was there.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And at that time, I was in the courtyard, and this building was like 8-9 stories high.
Yeah.
I looked up. Something got my attention. I looked up and saw a figure in the window because it lit up the window. I seen this figure, and I'm just looking up at him. He's looking at me, and to be honest with you, I don't know if it was male or female. But whoever or whatever it was looking at me, and I was looking up at him. And I can't help but think, if somebody's telling me thank you for playing the music that we have, I don't know. But the minute I looked down, I looked back up, the light was gone and the figure was gone. And I knew that none of my members could be up there because that place didn't have no electricity. You had to take the elevator.
Yeah.
And trust me, my members are too lazy to go up 8 flights of stairs. That ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
That is not. And then walk around the corner,
Yeah.
Of the building, because I think it was coming from the north side. We were on the south side of the building. And I know that, dude, there's nobody up there that can be possibly, that can move that fast. I look down, look up, and they're gone. I'm like, wow, that was amazing. So music can play a big key, as we were talking about earlier, as getting the response that we need to, for investigations. A lot of team members don't use music, but you know what? A little music box would help. There are so many ways that you can use musically wise to get responses.
Yeah.
And it's a shame. And going back to thinking outside the box again.
Yeah.
Everything circles itself.
I think sometimes you get too, some teams get too focused possibly on just one way of doing things. And when you start not getting a lot of responses, they just say, well, this place isn't haunted or something.
But not only that, they get frustrated. They get aggravated. They want to say, then that's when you're right, Dave. They'll start saying negative things about the location.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But once again, you're talking about somebody's home.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How would you feel if I come to your house and start talking about your home?
You know, I think another thing that we have found, humor, using humor, maybe not actually when you're, doing a EVP session or something like that, but just in the general sense of you're being funny or you're being light-hearted during an investigation. For instance, we had an investigation just outside of Clinton, Missouri, which is about 45 minutes from here.
Mm-hmm.
And the house was built in the 1870s. It was built by a French family. It also had some ties to Cole Younger and the James Gang.
Okay.
But mainly it was a showplace house when it was built. And so we had been investigating. We did not know at the time, and we've been getting hits on our meters and so forth, but we didn't know until we went back over evidence that, if you get 2 or 3 good EVPs on an investigation, that's pretty good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We got 52.
Oh, wow.
52 in a span of just a little over 2 hours. The interesting thing was at 10 o'clock, everything just went, pardon the pun, dead. I mean, we didn't have, because we could check it on our recorders and so forth. It's like somebody just flipped a switch. But I'm going to let Cherise tell you about one of the recordings that we got from there.
We've through the years have gotten recordings that have not been in English. They've been in other languages. If it's German, I usually have to ask Britt because I don't speak German, or David sometimes. But this one, David was listening to, and he said, it just sounds like, rubbish. I can't understand anything. And so I listened to it like I usually do, and I smiled at him, and I said, it's because it's in French. And he was like, well, what is it saying? And I said, it's like a mistress getting ready for a party talking to her maid. Well,
wow.
And the history of the house and the family that built that house were French descent. So it matched with who would have actually lived there.
Interesting.
Like a house in Corder, Missouri, which is heavily German populated or heritage-wise. It was an older couple that lived at the house. And there was a recording that when I asked Fred what it meant, he said it meant what's happening. Like they were observing us in their home, wondering what we were doing.
Tell them about the recorder on the stairs over there. Yeah.
And in the house and outside of Clinton, he was talking about, we usually will go for a while and take a break because we're thinking if we're trying to communicate to them, we don't know their ability to communicate to us. They may be using all the energy that they have, and they could be getting tired. So we try to think of them talking to us. If we have someone just asking questions, we may need a break too. We don't know how strong their energy is. So we try to take breaks throughout the evening because of that. Well, the lady that was there had fixed some cookies and things and said, when you get a break, I have some stuff. You sit in the kitchen, which we thought was sweet. So we were sitting laughing and just, camaraderie. And one of the recordings, it comes back, it says, we like them. They're funny.
That is so cool. That is so cool. Guys, let me ask you guys, this is one of the questions that's going to make you say, And Dave, I am going to pick on you for a moment.
Okay.
Because you've been too quiet.
Okay.
He needs to talk more.
Do you think there's politics in heaven?
Honestly, I think that it's a possibility because some of the things that come to my mind that I ask myself, when people pass, into the next world, whatever happens after we pass, do we retain memories? do we retain feelings? Do we retain consciousness, somehow, some way that keeps some attached to this world and some don't, So I think based on thinking things like that, why not? There could be politics on the other side. There could be just about anything. It's what we talked about earlier with the open possibilities. You think of every angle, every possibility that could be happening on the other side.
You're absolutely right. But my biggest concern is, have you guys ever been on an investigation where you got something going good, you got communication and it's going good, but you ask that one specific question you're not going to get an answer to. And it could be something, the simplest thing. Simple. Like, what do you see? Yeah. Or is the grass greener on the other side? Or, do you see the sun? Do you see sunflowers? Some of the simplest questions that you ask, you do not get an answer to. And that is the reason why I always ask is there politics in heaven? Is there somebody up there that's telling you, I can't call it politics, but that sounds pretty good to me. But is there rules and regulations where you can only answer a specific question? You can only do specific things. And it makes you wonder, because curious minds want to know. We want to know. Yeah. If there is a sun, if there's a moon, is there? And most of the time that I am having this conversation with people, like you say, they're not replying back. And one of the questions I always ask is, are you in the clothes that you were buried in?
Yeah.
Some people say no. But yet some people don't answer it at all.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
well, I mean, that's what drives it, though, in the paranormal field. That's what drives us, is the curiosity to know. Because we want to know, are you in the same clothes? Do you have the same mind, the same heart that you had when you were on Earth? Where are you at? What does it look like? What's around you? That's what drives all of us in the paranormal field, is to find those answers.
Or who are you with? My big question I always try to find out, who are you with? Are you alone? Are you with a loved one? Are you?
And it's crazy, because this goes to the next question. If you pass away and you're supposed to be surrounded with so many loved ones, so many family members you haven't seen, those are the ones that's supposed to greet you when you're crossing over. Yeah. But what about the ones and this is where I come into a big conflict of haunted locations. Why aren't those not with their loved ones? Yeah. I don't understand it. Why? I mean, because you're surrounded by them. Allegedly, when you die, they're supposed to come get you to show you the way, because at that point, when you going through a certain part of death, you don't know anything.
Yeah.
Right. Well, one of the theories that we've been kicking it around for years is that sometimes we don't believe that we are actually talking to people who have, quote, died. Different levels of existence, like different dimensions or different levels of reality. I think that is more of a possibility than actually talking to somebody that has passed on, because of some of the different things that have happened over the years in our investigations lead us to that conclusion, or time differentials, where you may be actually talking with somebody in another time. And so sometimes our investigations go in that route. When people approach us to do an investigation, they'll say, well, I think it might be my grandpa, or it might be this person or that. And it very well could be, but we also have to look at other possibilities, other realms, other times, because there's just, especially when you're dealing with residual haunts and intelligent. If it's intelligent, you're talking with or communicating with something right then and there. They're giving you answers back right then and there. But so much of what we get is residual. It's old, it's old, like Sharice was talking about the French that we heard. We've had investigations, like we had one here in Sedalia, downtown. The downtown area is very active here in Sedalia, very, very active. And the one building that we investigated is now the studios for KDRO radio. But back in the day, it was Third National Bank. Well, we had an investigation mainly in the basement, because this is where people said they had been experiencing things. And in this one room that has no windows, the only thing in there was a table, and on the table was this old adding machine that had like about 12 rows of numbers on it. But we caught an EVP. Well, it wasn't an EVP. We just caught audio, and it's this woman. You can hear her plain as day, and it's almost like in a chant. And she's saying, "Hey, Mr. Cosgrove, hell no." Well, we did some checking, and in the late 1920s, there was a banker by the name of Cosgrove that was from Boonville, but had dealings with Third National Bank here in Sedalia. So there's a thing where I think time can overlap into our different levels of reality. People always used to say, well, you're standing here and there's probably a train going through right now where you're standing. Well, it's very possible, but it's just, we can't just say, okay, it's somebody that's passed and that's all we're going with, because sure, that is a possibility. And I think a lot of the time that might be what's happening, but that's the neat thing about this team. We consider everything. I mean, we wouldn't have thought about the dog until we thought, oh, okay, well, getting up in bed, the dog probably laid up against the girl in the bed, so you have to keep an open mind with everything when you're on investigation. You can't just have tunnel vision and say, okay, well, it's going to be this, and if it's not this, then it's nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to throw a monkey wrench into that, and I want you to tell me what you think. Residual hauntings. And this just might be, I'm just thinking about this, and because I was laying in my bed, and I'm like, is it possible that residual hauntings are just someone just trying to get your attention, someone that's trying to tell you a story? Because if you look at something residual, it's basically telling you something over and over and over and over and over again. But don't that sound familiar to you guys? Name one person that would tell you something over and over and over and over again to get your attention.
Yeah,
it's a child.
It's very possible. How are they trying to convey information to us? Is this the only way to bring a memory back, or bring some kind of event back,
or let somebody know who they are?
Right.
But the reason why they're doing it over and over and over again is because nobody is hearing them.
Yeah.
Nobody is understanding them. And what is the best way to get someone's attention?
Keep doing it over and over again.
Doing it over and over and over again.
15th time. We had an investigation early in our investigating history. It was a house south of Blairstown, which is just a little hole in the road, probably about 50 miles from here. And the house was built in 1868. The family that lived there said that on occasion, usually several times a month, around sunset, they would see this lady in white. It's always a lady in white. And
Always.
she would walk across the dining room from one bedroom to another. She wouldn't interact. It was just like, that's probably something that she did every night.
Mhm.
Okay, so we did the investigation in early February. It was really cold, and the family had gone to stay in a hotel in Clinton, and we had our audio recorders set, one in the dining room, then one upstairs. Well, the downstairs in the dining room, there was a pellet stove, and when that pellet stove came on, it was so loud, it was kind of like a roar, and it was interfering with our recording. So we had to shut it off. So it'd been off for about 45 minutes. So we're all huddled in the kitchen, which was on a separate heating unit, and we're watching our monitors. And this pellet stove all of a sudden just flares up and back down. So we called the family and said, does pellet stove usually do that? And they said, no, we've never seen that happen before. Okay.
Interesting.
So I take my K2 meter into the dining room. Everybody else is watching on the monitors. And I walk in and I say, okay, if you made that stove flare up, can you do it again? Right on cue, it flared up a second time. And so I said, okay, thank you very much. I turned around, walked back into the kitchen. Everybody's standing there, wow. And at the same time, basically at the same time, on our audio recorder upstairs, we caught a woman's voice saying, I like it hot.
Mm.
So unless it was Marilyn Monroe, which I don't think it was, but now there's where the lady crossing was residual, but then we also got intelligent response. So maybe she was trying to tell the family every night when she did that, hey, this is what I used to do. I was checking on the kids, you know?
Right.
Yeah. Somehow trying to
Interesting.
convey her story, through repeated actions.
Yeah. Guys, in Missouri, very cold state. It gets cold up there.
Yeah.
Does weather in your area play a factor in paranormal investigating when you guys are investigating during the wintertime? Does that play a significant role?
Liberty. I think when we investigated at Liberty Center, which is a theater here in town, it did, because that night it was storming and we did actually get quite a bit of activity in comparison to other times that we had been there.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, man. It's crazy. Because I've heard so many stories. People say that the universe has, man, so much energy, just so much energy, and if spirits have access to the universe, why are they always so lack of energy? I don't understand that.
Well, I have a personal story. You're talking about storms when it relates to my daughters. It was at our house, like you said, that's, had activity and still does. When they were younger, they had come into my room and crawled into bed with me. My husband was working a swing shift at that time, and it was storming. So they were scared. I said, sure. So they both crawled in and were sleeping. And I was woken up by the sound of my younger daughter sounding like she was crying or having a bad dream. And when I woke up and looked, it looked like Autumn was standing and patting her on the back. But I thought, I didn't know to believe my eyes or not, because when you first wake up, I was unsure. So I'm like, I may have just been seeing things. Well, the morning I asked my daughter, I said, were you having a bad dream, sweetie? And she said, yeah. And I said, well, what were you dreaming? She said, I dreamed the house was on fire. Well, in our attic, they told us that the house had been struck by lightning at one point in the beam that they were able to see when we were having it inspected. So, of course, that made me a little nervous. And before I can say anything more, she said, but it's okay. She told me everything was fine.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
Oh.
Right there.
All paranormal,
that is-
all
Go ahead,
paranormal
sir.
activity is energy.
Mhm.
It's energy. When we pick up things with our meters, electromagnetic energy. I mean, that's all this. And energy just does not disappear. It has to go somewhere. So our feeling is whenever we encounter these things, for instance, the house in Clinton, just outside Clinton, I mentioned, within a half a mile of that house, there are two large, heavy-duty electrical, we used to call them trunk lines. And we think that that's what sparked all of the EVPs we got and the activity that we got. And then maybe at 10 o'clock, something changed. They shifted the way the direction of the electricity went or something, and that changed everything. But we feel, and I think I can speak for these two and other people on our team, the energy has to go somewhere. It just doesn't disappear. So we pick that energy up. Investigators pick that energy up, and that's what we're getting. So,
Yeah,
But that raises another interesting possibility that I've thought about. And people talk about passing away. You know, we die, we ascend, we go to heaven. You know, whatever your particular beliefs are. But if you think of someone passing as evolving rather than passing, maybe on the other side, we're actually continuing our existence just in a different form. And that's how investigations, that we do, we're able to get communication from people that have passed. Maybe we're not passing, maybe we're evolving instead. And to me, that's an interesting thought, that you're not dying, but you're evolving to a different plane, a different level, a different kind of existence, possibly in the form of energy.
I think that'd be cool. Because I am a big sci-fi buff, man. I'll watch Stargate SG-1 all the time. And the ancients evolved to pure energy.
yeah.
I mean, that's the only way. They have advanced so much where they don't see no other way but to evolve themselves into energy. And they considered, and what's so weird about it, I can see exactly what people talks about, because as you are at a certain plane, you really don't want to mess with anybody lower than you, do you?
That's what you want.
Point of doing that?
Yeah.
I mean, because if I'm a certain existence and I got a lower life form, I'm only going to come mess with you. I'm not going to expect you to have, anything more than me because you're lower than me. You know what I'm saying? But anything above me, I can see what you're trying to do. You give me some of that. But anything less than me, nah, I can't mess with you. And maybe that's just what is going on. But there are
open possibilities.
Yeah, there are certain, and like the ancients, they were not. It was against rules, and this is where we go back to the rules and regulations. It was against the rules for them to even socialize with lower existence, which would be people like us, because we have not evolved into something bigger or something better yet. So it's weird how everything just, the way that it is, it has some kind of validation to it. And it's
Right.
weird. But
you mentioned sci-fi, and that it's interesting. We have had at least 2 investigations over the years where it kind of shifted over into the extraterrestrial side of things. I'm a state section director for the Mutual UFO Network, MUFON. And so I have interest in both sides of this. We had an investigation one time where this lady had taken a photo outside at night off of her deck. And she said, I want you to see this. So she handed her phone to us, and we all looked at it, passed it around, and about all the same time we said, gray alien, because that's exactly what it looked like. It was big head, big eyes, thin body, probably about 8 to 10 feet off of the deck. We had an investigation here in town some years ago where the lady that lived there with her kids picked up something on her security camera. She'd had somebody break into her house, so she set up security cameras. And this one took a still photo. When you look at the photo, it looks like an insectoid. It had like big silver head, kind of like looked like a helmet. And it was moving so quickly that it was a blur compared to everybody else that was sitting in the room. So I think there's a possibility there that what some people are experiencing could be extraterrestrial, or at least something. There would be the other realms or other dimensions, because I think that's what a lot of the UFOs that I investigate and that people talk about, I think that's what a lot of that is. I think it's interdimensional. So
Interesting. How many are, just to show of hands, how many of you guys are school teachers? I know you are a music teacher. School teacher, music teacher. And Dave, what do you do for a living? Are you
I am a custodian with the school district, so we're basically all in education.
Okay, so here's the big question. So here's the question that I have for y'all. Why doesn't your colleagues believe in the things that you guys are seeing, the thing that you guys are hearing? Why is it so hard for your colleagues to believe on what's going on?
Some of them are because if you're a Christian, depending, I go to the Methodist church, but I guess they're known for being a little open more so. But some parts of Christianity don't believe that if anything's here, then that's evil. If you have the belief, say, as devout Southern Baptist, that when a person passes, they go to heaven. So if anything is here, it has to be evil. So some of that is religious preferences or differences. They see what we do as, oh, well, what you're getting is maybe not the person or something, because they would be in heaven.
When I was growing up, I grew up in Coal Camp, which is just 20 miles south of here. People did not talk about ghosts and entities and things like that. But I remember my grandparents that were alive in the early 20th century, they talked about weird things happening. So it seems like for a span of about 50 years or so, it was taboo to talk about anything paranormal. It's only been within probably the last 30 years or so where more people are opening up about it. And of course, a lot of that is due to the television shows. We know that, but still, it is an avenue now that people are they're coming through now and saying, yeah, when I was a kid, this happened, or this is happening now, or whatever. But for a long time, especially around this area, and like Sheree said, it's still kind of that way with some people. No. We don't talk about that.
This is still kind of the Bible Belt, because we're near Springfield, Missouri.
But it's weird because you guys, I always thought the Bible Belt was everything south of the Mason-Dixie line.
No, they're very conservative here. We're close enough to Springfield still that it's still very conservative.
A lot of it could have to do with individual mindset as well. Right. Depending on what you grew up believing, what your background was like, what your child life was like, that forms opinions in our own minds, each individual opinion, each individual mindset. And that may be why you get some people like all of us that believe there's something beyond this, that the paranormal exists, and you get other people that are staunchly against it, that doesn't exist. It's all a bunch of hokey pokey,
Right.
We actually investigated my church. Luckily, we have a pastor now that is quite open. And in the church, they have one section that the original church that was torn down, they brought the pulpit and the baptismal, different things from that church and made a small sanctuary within the new church. And we actually investigated that, and we were getting activity in that area. And it was like whatever was there couldn't move past that area into the new part of the church.
Interesting.
Really odd.
Interesting. Hello, Irene. Better late than never.
Hello.
Hi.
I've been busy.
You've been sleeping?
No, I've been busy.
Okay. Well, welcome to the show.
I got several groups to work with, and I'm not fun.
I can imagine. Well, we're just having a typical NSPS TV paranormal podcast discussion. Just to let you know, I have not stuck my finger in the light socket yet. But I think I will here shortly. Yeah. Guys, are there any urban legends up in Missouri? Because I don't think I'll try to Google some, but I can't find any.
Well, the Hornet Spook Light, which is down south of Joplin, we actually went down there one time didn't really investigate, but we just observed it. It's a light that will appear. This road is right on the Missouri-Oklahoma border. Mm-hmm. And this light has been seen for 130, 140 years. Yeah. So long before cars were around or anything like that. And this light, when you see it, if you try to get up to it, it seems like it just keeps pulling away from you or it'll disappear. So when you kind of pull back and come back where you were, then the light is there again. We saw this thing, and it was on the side of the road, and then it went up into a tree and hovered there for a while, and then came back down. And once again, when you try to get close to it, it won't let you get close to it. Now, a lot of that could be earth energy. There are fault lines down there, so it could have something to do with seismic activity, that type of thing. But it's really strange.
Now,
there's a creature. It's not too far from here. It's called the Beeman Monster. There's a little hole in the road town called Beeman, about 10 miles from here, and especially in the 1950s and 60s, there were a lot of sightings of this thing. And it was a cross between, I guess, like what? Like Bigfoot kind of a Bigfoot type thing. Had glowing red eyes. People would say that it would try and go after him. They'd run away, and then that type of thing. Haven't heard much about that lately, but yeah, there are a few legends around.
That guy sounds like the same kid that's knocking over trash cans in the neighborhood.
Yeah, well, could be.
Or it could be how much whiskey you drink and say, "Ooh, okay, that thing's moving."
Well, that's a whole different kind of spirit.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Hey,
and you know what? Never ever put your phone number on a business card.
Oh.
I did that when we first started, and I would get calls at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning say, "I got a ghost. Can you come and check out my ghost?" And
Oh,
I said,
Lord.
you've probably seen enough spirits already,
Yeah,
So,
you had
Speaking
one
of-
too many. One too many, or not enough.
How many cases have you guys had that has been a part of mental health issues? Have you guys had any cases like that?
That one.
Yeah, that one
Yeah.
up near Kansas
Yeah,
City.
we had one near Kansas City, and one of the witnesses seeing things had a TBI.
Mm,
And luckily at that time we had someone with us who was a psychiatrist. And then we had someone who was with us at the time that was head of the sleep study. So he was on sleep apnea and sleep paralysis. He had that covered. And then our other person, after she got to talking to him, we found out it was more of a medical, but we wouldn't have known that if we didn't have her as one of our assets at the time.
You notice that happens, like you have to be almost like a psychiatrist or have some kind of I don't know. You have to dip in some kind of mental health, um, not a doctor, but something close to that where you can see, okay, this person's, yeah, you need to see a doctor.
Yeah,
You know what? Yeah,
Well, I know
you need,
one of the questions, like as case manager, when I talk to people, I actually ask, is anyone on any medication? If so,
Yeah.
what is the
Yeah.
medication?
You,
Yeah.
they
Things
won't
like
even they don't even tell you that they won't come clean with that. You know that.
No,
Yeah.
actually, sometimes most people have been pretty honest with us.
Oh no, the ones that we dealt
Surprisingly.
with, Terry and I don't. Nope, they won't come clean with anything.
Yeah, there's a
If
lot
not,
that.
Nope.
you can usually tell
you can tell
pretty
if
quickly,
not, but
Yeah.
Are
even if
you a
they're not.
reefer addict? Nope, I'm not a reefer addict.
No. Yeah. What's that? Well, what do you think it is?
Yeah, I'm like, guys, you guys in Missouri, man. There's Native Americans all around you guys.
Yeah.
Have you guys encountered anything Native American
Dave,
on your
take this.
investigations?
yeah. We have, yes.
Yes, we have.
How'd that go for you
Trying to
guys?
think in my head which one.
Well, we had.
Stover.
Well, I still think that the courthouse here in Sedalia, we're in the Pettis County Courthouse is here, and we had we investigated it 3 different times, and the first time we heard this sound, we thought it was maybe wind coming through vents or things because it was very windy that night.
Mhm.
But we came back 5 years later, did an investigation, and we caught this. It sounds like a scream, like a woman screaming or a wild animal. It's kind of a cross between the two. And so we have kind of decided that it was probably an elemental or something that is attached to the land, which Native Americans, did bless land, but they also cursed the land. And so we think that that's probably what that was. And then we had another investigation where we kind of ran into an elemental or a land spirit.
Mhm.
So yes, to answer your question, I believe that we have run into that
There
type
are
of situation.
2 herbs that'll help with that because Native American spirits react to 2 herbs: lemongrass and mugwort.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ever need to help a land, you use those herbs and you surround the land with those herbs, and it'll help. It'll help the property.
I know we
Yeah,
have
man.
one person now that we were waiting until the weather got better,
Mhm.
but they built their home on a piece of land, and then after they built it, they found out that there were Native American burial ground mounds
Yeah.
on their land. So we haven't actually been there yet, but they've asked us to come.
And
That was-
sometimes
that-
tobacco works too. Tobacco and water, not fire
And
water. Water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just be nice. And just be nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you guys
Respectful.
have to
Have to
remember,
be respectful.
the one thing that I remember, the one thing that I've noticed and I've never noticed before is Native Americans do not recognize any religion.
No.
Huh.
No.
And I shouldn't have known that at the one investigation me and Irene did,
Hmm.
but at the time we didn't know it was Native American that was causing the issue. But we found out a couple of weeks
Afterwards.
later.
Yeah. And we called our
And
friend, remember?
yeah, and we noticed that all the crosses in the house were either flipped upside down or ripped off the wall.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've heard.
And and it's not, and the reason why it ripped off the wall, it's not because of a demon or anything like that.
No.
It's just that Native Americans just don't recognize really Christianity
No.
Mhm.
Yeah.
because of what had happened. So I look at that, I'm like, oh shit, you're right.
Hmm.
They do not accept anything but their own ways. And if you're
Yeah.
living on their property, you have no choice. Either that or move
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
to abide by their rules and their regulations.
Hmm.
And trust me, you can't. There's no defense against Native American spirits. They're gonna come and go and do what they want because that's their property. That's their
And I
land.
remember Terry got sick. He wound up in the hospital because of that. And yeah, it was pretty bad because that was their land. If you don't respect my land, I'm gonna come after you. And I don't care who you are. I don't care what you are. I don't care what nationality you are. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. You don't like it, you can bleep bleep bleep. Right.
And you know what? The Native Americans, they only ask for one thing.
Mm-hmm.
One thing and one thing only. Return the land to where it was before
Right.
they
Yep.
moved here.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they didn't do it.
Nope.
Nope.
Here in Sedalia, every summer they have a powwow, and they will
Mhm.
bring different Native American tribes. It's not all the same tribe; it's all kinds of different tribes,
Mhm.
and they're here for a couple days, and it's very very interesting. The what because you talk to these people, and you learn so much.
Mhm.
You learn so much from actually talking with them. I had a lady that lives here in Sedalia. She used to cut my hair. She was a hairstylist,
Mhm.
and she lived just south of town near it's called Flat Creek. It's a little stream,
Mhm.
and she said on many occasions around sunset that she would hear Native American drumming. So the spirits are still there. They're still there. And yes, like you mentioned, most of them are pissed,
Yeah.
you know.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. And I don't want to be ever. And to be honest with you, I'm still going through emotional traumas with that whole incident that happened.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm still going through it. And I
Yeah.
don't know if I will ever recover, but eventually I will, but I'm still going through it.
It's taking a long time for you to overcome whatever happened to you. I know.
Yeah. Because it hit me like a brick. And no, it hit me like a brick.
Yeah. And
Oh.
it took me a week to heal him from what happened to him. And he had an arrow embedded into his side of his stomach. It
Hmm.
was it was actually, I mean, I swear to God, it was like this kind of arrow.
wow.
And it was right on his skin. You could see it as plain as day. I said, and then my friend who's also Native American, who's with our group, and she told me, "Look at that." And I go, "Uh-oh, I have to get rid of that." She goes, "Yeah." So I had to get rid of it, and I finally disappeared off of his side of his on his nearest rib cage. I said, "Oh dear, yeah."
I can't tell because there's so much fat there now.
But at
I
that
can't
time,
tell.
Well,
She
our
pointed out to
team,
me.
yeah, our team does not. We don't go into the realm of where we'll go in and say, well, we can get rid of this for you or whatever. We can give the people that we do the investigations for. We can give them some suggestions and maybe talk to like
Mhm.
clergy or
Mhm.
um, a shaman or something like that.
Mhm.
But we ourselves we don't do that, and it's mainly because it's kind of like when people at their own homes try to get rid of something and it doesn't work or it makes the situation worse.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
And that's
like
one thing we don't want.
we smudged all over. Well, you probably shouldn't have done that. You know,
Yep.
it
Yeah.
needs to be people that know what they're doing, and
Mhm.
we know as well as anybody that
Mhm.
there are positive and
Mhm.
negative entities
Mhm.
both on this side of the veil and the
Mhm.
other side.
Yeah.
And we're not going to want to piss anything off.
Nope.
So
They figure we can leave, but they can't.
Yeah.
We're not going to
Yeah.
do something to
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
their
But
home.
they have. You have to know that if it was Native American land, that's their land. You can't get rid of them. Either you let them stay, or either you work with them on their land, so both of you can coexist, or you leave. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
their
I mean,
choice. Right?
right.
Is
even
no
if
other option.
you really don't have a choice. Either
No.
deal with
No.
it or leave. And trust
Yep.
me, they're gonna come into your house. They're gonna
Mhm.
do whatever they want to do. And
Mhm.
the only thing you can do is
Mhm.
you hear something that go bump in the night, turn over and continue sleeping.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, I had
because you already know who it is and what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
had a couple of friends that were he was a Lutheran pastor, and he and his wife had moved here from out in western Kansas.
Mhm.
And so being a pastor and pastor's wife, I had no reason to doubt whatever they told me. They said they would be sitting in their house at night and they would see Native Americans coming through on horseback or just there and in full regalia, full dress. So, you know, they're still around.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
They'll always be around. They'll
Yeah.
always be around. They'll
and
always be there.
and this is one of my theories. You guys can agree with me or disagree. Uh, there's no way. I don't care. No way that the United States Army came in and just wiped out every Native American tribe in North America.
Mhm.
It's literally impossible.
Mhm.
First of all, the U.S. Army was too chicken shit to even go to the West.
Mhm.
Colorado, Utah, Nevada, they weren't even over there yet. The Native Americans were. So how can they say that? How can history books say, hey, the U.S. Army wiped out all the Native Americans?
But
There's too
they're
many of
not
them
gonna
to do
write that
that.
in no history book. That ain't gonna go in no history book. You know that.
But you cannot do that. But you know what I did think what happened?
Well.
They just went home.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They just some of them had a choice
Mhm.
either to go
Mhm.
or to stay.
Mhm.
It's really up to you.
Mhm.
Now, mind you, there are a lot of Native Americans that were back then that are no longer around.
Mhm.
There's a lot of them. You hear so many, like, I've never heard of that Native American tribe name. Where'd they go?
Mhm. Mhm.
In over a night.
Mhm.
Ooh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Because
Hey,
they had some of them in the caves in the mountains. They had pictures of beings that were not from this planet, and they drew the pictures in the mountains, and it's still in the mountains there.
Yeah, and I just think they just got fed up and just went home, just like Elvis.
Yep.
Well,
You know
I'll
what I'm
tell
saying?
you, the Native Americans that I have had the pleasure of meeting with, talking, like when they do the powwow here every year, they are, first off, they're some of the nicest people you would ever want to meet.
Mhm.
Secondly, they are some of the proudest people.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
You know,
they
and for what happened to them, you
Mhm.
know, the U.S. government should be totally ashamed.
Yep.
I
of what
totally
happened,
agree.
you
Yeah.
know?
I totally agree.
Yeah.
But you
Those
know
guys,
what? But also the people that I talked to, yes, they wish things had been different,
Mhm.
but a lot of them do not harbor personal, you know, ill feelings. It's a collective. It's a
Mhm.
collective feeling, you
Mhm.
know.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think they have a. I think to this day they still have that choice
Mhm.
Yeah.
whether they want to come or go. If anybody is one with nature, it's not me. It's not you guys. I've never met nature. I've seen her wrath. I've seen her anger, but
Mhm.
I've never came close contact with her. Not like the Native Americans have.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They understand her. They know not to cross her bad side.
Mhm.
Better than any of the rest of us do.
You know,
Right? You know what
I
I'm saying? So
yeah,
it's
I
just go ahead,
that's true.
Irene.
I have a couple of shamans. They're no longer alive, but even in death, they help you. Even in death, they help you. And once you have made a bond with them, they're there for life, for your life. They're there to help you right through your life and in death. They're there to help you no matter what. And they will protect you and they will guide you and they will tell you what to do. And it's so interesting. You know, I made these little pack parcels, right? You put herbs in it and you put it in your front door, you put it in your back door in your house, and you just hang it up or you put it on your doorknob. They told me what color to make this. They told me to make this red. So I did. And then they told me what color bead to use on here.
Mm-hmm.
They told me to use one black and one red. So I used one black and I made one red. Yeah. And I did all that from listening to a dead shaman. And and people said, "You're weird." I go, "No, I just used my wits and I listened." You listen, they'll tell you, right?
Yeah.
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 That should be the mantra for all us investigators. If you listen, they'll tell you.
Yeah.
And that's all you have to do, man. A lot
Yeah.
of people don't listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My family tends to be sensitive, so I listen.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. Welcome to the group.
Wow.
I've kind of David's gotten used to me now when I tell him stuff instead of going looking at me funny, he just goes,
What?
okay.
Like, say what?
You know, I got a podcast coming up next week called Psychic Parlor,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all about gifted people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm so curious about people that have gifts. You know, so I just thought, hey man, I got to put a bunch of these individuals together, and we're gonna sort things out because
But
there's a lot
I
of.
can't tell you stuff for that, right?
I'm not worried. There's a lot of unanswered.
And
There's a lot of
unfortunately,
unanswered questions that need to be answered.
See,
Yeah.
unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff I've told my husband is dealing with when people have passed, and I know they're going to. So
and you know what? You can't tell them certain things, right? Because it'll disrupt the flow or the energy of the flow. So yeah, and then it'll create arguments. It'll create a fight. So you can't really talk about it. And that's where Terry comes in with his finger in the light socket all the time.
Well, the reason, and guys, it goes back to what we talked about nearly 30 minutes ago. And I'm a guy that will never stop asking why.
Yeah, that's the most
I want to know.
important thing.
Until we're gone from this existence, we're not going to know all the answers. I mean, I think there are some things that we have come a little closer to, maybe getting some things, but until we're gone from this existence and we're on the next level, and then we're going to know. But it's going to be kind of hard to make a phone call to say, "Hey, guess what? We were wrong."
And there's the certain things where psychic mediums are. We know certain things, and we're bound to secrecy. We're bound not to tell anybody. And then that's where Terry goes, like just because I said, "Sorry, can't tell you." He goes, he goes,
Hey, I'm human. If I was anything else, I wouldn't want to know. But I'm human. I'm curious like that. And all of us is curious about something.
Yeah.
See, that's why she's doing this. Yeah.
Well, it's like with David. One of the things that happened, he came home from work, and his grandmother was in the hospital and not doing well. And he said, "I'm going to clean up and go back in the morning." And I said, "No." And he looked at me, and I said, "You need to go now."
Yep.
And by then he knew, so he went. And I said, "She's waiting for you."
Yeah.
And he said, "What do you mean?" I don't know. So he went, and I think within a few hours after he went, she was gone. And I asked him, I said, "What did you say to her?" And he said, "I told her, it's okay, Grandma, I love you, but it's time you can leave."
Yeah.
My grandfather had passed years before, and my grandmother told me my entire life. She said, "I will never leave you until you tell me it's okay to go."
Yeah.
So when I went to see her in the hospital that night, I gave her a kiss on the forehead, and I said, "It's okay, Grandma, you can go." And a couple hours later, she was gone. But she had held on for weeks at that point, being in a coma. And that's when Sharice told me, "You need to go up and see her tonight because she's waiting."
Oh, and she just gave me a message. She said, "Thank you for coming. I love you. Don't worry about me. I'm always here with you in your heart and in your mind. So
that makes me feel good.
So don't worry about it." She's right here.
That makes me feel good.
So and she said, "I'm sorry that you had to when you're busy, you're really busy. I'm sorry when you're really busy that you had to take that extra time to come and visit me when you knew that I wasn't doing so well. I waited for you, and I got your permission. It's okay. You don't have to worry about it. No problems. No worries about it."
Well,
that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Now
he's gonna ask me, "How do you know that?" And I said, "Well, I know that."
Well, I had that, and then recently my uncle had cancer, and he was in the hospital.
Yeah.
And I got a message that they were moving him to respite. And I looked at David and I said, "He won't last."
Yeah.
And he said, "How do you know that?" And I said, "I just do."
Because you know.
And then
You
that
know what
night
in here, right? Yeah, you know what? It's in here where you have that feeling, and you know exactly who's going to live and who's going to die.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then early that morning, I dreamed I was talking with my mother. Well, my mother's been gone almost 2 years. But I was having a conversation with my mother, and she was saying, "I know he's tired, but don't worry, I'm taking him."
Yeah.
And then when I woke up, there was a message from my cousin about that time saying, Dad passed early this morning. So,
well, I can tell you that right now. If they take me, they just gonna send me back.
Oh God! Yeah, they're gonna say, "Oh, please don't, not him."
I made a promise. I made a promise to myself.
Terry's a pain in the butt. No, I don't want.
I am gonna raise hell to all of them. I don't care
And
who
you know what
they
he
are.
said? He said, I'm gonna bug the heck out of me. And I said, oh no, you're not. He goes, oh yes, I will. I said,
I'm singing 99 bottles of beer on the wall to everybody.
until I tell them. Right.
But
So-
I've always had that ability or knowing when a
Yeah.
family member is sick or something's going to happen to them, or I would dream things that would happen.
Mm-hmm.
And my daughters are the same, so it seems
Mhm.
to come through my mom's family.
Yeah.
So
Mine too. Mine too came from my mom's family, and all my kids have it. And yeah, it's just everyone thinks
You know,
you're weird.
people say, and I could be wrong, but people say generational gifts can be a curse upon the kids
is.
because the kids might not want it.
No.
And kids might consider it a curse, especially if they don't understand it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, if parents don't explain it to them what's going on, then that is the worst thing to have a kid to go through that by themselves because they have no clue on what the hell they're about to experience. To
Well, the
having
thing
a
is, you can't
like
control
that,
it. As
oh
an
God.
adult, you can't control it. You can't control what a spirit does to your child, what a spirit says to your child. You can't control it. You have to ride it. You have to ride it like a wave, and that's the hard part as a parent, watching my eldest son go through certain things that I just don't even want to even think about. I don't even want to think about it, and that's why he has nothing to do with paranormal anymore. He said, "I'm done," and I said, "I don't blame you, right?"
I don't
Yeah.
blame him either, man, because hell, you
Yeah.
can't go to you can't go by a cemetery without looking in it. And the minute you drive by, you meet eye contact with
Mm.
someone, and they meet
Mm.
eye contact with you. And next thing you know, you got a situation at your house.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, and I'm like, okay, what the hell? Who are you, Bob? Well, what the hell?
I know
I was watching a paranormal video on my phone, right? It was really cool. He said, yeah, it was an investigation. And my son came upstairs and he goes, Mom, I go, what? Are you watching a paranormal video? I go, no. Like I go, no. I went like that and he goes, well, there's this little girl who came in front of me in my door and goes and stared at me. So I think you better turn it. I said, yeah, okay. Like, I said, whoops. Like, whoops.
You know,
Like, yeah, we don't do that anymore.
yeah, I don't do that anymore. My kids are total opposite of me.
Yeah.
Only because they have not went through what I went through as a
Yeah.
child.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if they were concealed by it, or they were protected by it, or times were just different.
Yeah.
You know, like I say, this day and age, everything is so fast. You
Mhm.
don't really take the time to see what's in front of you. You don't really take time to see the obvious or something that could be paranormal because everything is going so fast. It looks like everyday life. Yeah, I mean, it looks like something that's just every day. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of people. The one thing that people don't pay attention to is, I don't know if you guys believe in it, but deja vu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've had that a lot.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of people don't pay attention, and they're like,
No.
they do a double take and just go on about their life, not knowing what they did a double take on could be paranormal. It could have been something that, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you guys sometimes got to take a deep breath
Mhm.
and just look.
Yeah.
Don't say nothing. Just look and
Mhm.
just hear, just for a brief moment.
Yeah.
And like I said, a lot
My
of people don't do that.
my experience has been I had a past life regression done
Mhm.
some years ago, and because of somebody that I met and things that I experienced through my life, and I
Mhm.
had it done. And uh, the closest life to mine now, everything matched up
Mm.
to what I had experienced. And so I'm, a lot of people, and of course, I was raised Missouri Synod Lutheran, and you don't talk about past lives and things like that. But
Mm-hmm.
I always felt that there was something,
Mm-hmm.
and sure enough,
Mm-hmm.
I was right.
I was raised as Catholic, and you don't do that stuff. And I said, why
No.
not? I'm helping people, and I'm helping the dead, and I'm helping people because you're not supposed to be doing that. I said, okay.
Well, we're not supposed to do what we do as
as investigators. Yeah, we're not
Yeah.
supposed to be doing that. It's
Yeah.
society says no, you're not supposed to.
But you know what? I'm going to keep on doing what I'm going to be doing, and I don't care
You know,
what they
but
Yeah.
the Catholic Church, and this is what's so crazy, and this is how twisted the church is.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, but 1600s, 1500s, when something went go bump in the night,
Mm-hmm.
the Catholic Church always sent out somebody like you and me to go investigate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Visitors.
Yeah.
And guess
So
what?
how is that they believe it back then, but don't believe it now?
But you know what?
I think
I
it's
have
a
two
change in
friends.
societal norms.
I have two friends that are demonologists. They have to study under the Catholic Church for so many years, and they have to go through certain studies to become a proper demonologist. It's not the certificate that you do online. They have to go through the methods and learning certain ways by a Monsignor who specializes in demonology and specializes in exorcism. So they believe it, but the rest of them, they no.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of ironic, isn't it?
Why would
Yeah,
the Catholic
in a way.
Church? Why would the Catholic Church train people for such a dangerous, profession if they don't believe in it?
Yeah,
What
it-
logic would that be?
I don't know. That's why I kind of
I don't know.
inched my way away from it. Like I'm not gonna. I'm gonna do what
That's
I'm
one of
gonna
them
do.
Arsenio Hall questions.
Yeah. But I keep my
Yeah.
prayers for cleansing. I remember those as a child for cleansing, and I remember what I need to do, and that's what I use. I utilize what I need to do it, and that's about all. That's about it. That's
know,
about
I
as far as I
mean,
go.
I know Brett's
there are
talked
so
about
many. Go ahead.
that Brett's talked about that he has always not really had any sensitivity per se, but
Mhm.
over the years since he's been doing this, he has, grown to have some.
Mhm.
And I had sensitivity, but it's really gotten more so, especially after being involved in this so long,
Oh, yeah.
and my daughter.
It opens up your mind more, right? And
Mhm.
people say, well, I'm afraid to open up my third eye. It's not going to hurt you. Nothing's going to hurt you. In fact, it's going to even protect you more than hurt you, right? Not having it open will harm you because you can't see what's there that you could probably need to protect yourself, rather than opening it up and protecting yourself that way because you know what's there. You could see it. You know what to do.
Yeah.
There you go. Right.
I know with me, I seem to have a protector of sorts because my grandfather, for whatever reasons, is attached to me. So,
Yeah.
Hmm,
Yeah.
interesting.
That's why I was wondering. I was doing this. I go, what's that?
Interesting. Guys, couple more questions. I'm gonna get you guys out of here. One question is, raise your hand if you with the school district again. Oh man.
Well,
Have you
not
guys
really,
ever
not
asked-
really
he's
anymore with me.
retired.
But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
What would you think if you asked a science teacher and you told him what you do? What do you think he would say?
I have talked to science teachers because they know what I do.
And what do you think and what have they told you? What is their beliefs?
They were like, well, that could be something. They won't come out and say that they think it's off per se, but they also at the same time don't really act like they think it's a wonderful thing you're doing.
No.
They don't know how. They don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the same answer we get from the scientific community.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The same thing. They don't
That
know how to
hasn't
explain it.
changed. They
don't
Science-
know that.
Science can't explain it because
No.
everything with science is based on replication. If
Mhm.
they can replicate it, then they can explain it. They can't
Yeah.
replicate a lot of what we experience doing investigations.
Yeah, if it's not here in front of their face, if they can't see it, if they can't feel it, if they can't touch it,
Mhm.
they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And plus, it takes money to do funding, right? And that's not where the money's going to be,
Yeah.
because there's no
But-
money in this field.
Doesn't that make them, what's the word I'm looking for? Doesn't that make them, what is that damn word? I'm sorry, I'm not used to using big words.
Nah, that means that we're going to all go to the loony bin. That's what it means.
That it's weird because there are so many others out there that have not presented anything to the table, but yet they're sitting there, they're being acknowledged, but no, they're not. Maybe because we're a little bit too taboo for them.
Mm-hmm.
I think still, yeah.
Well, look at UFOs, right? Look at the UFOs, right? They're just starting to come up and say, well, it does exist. They go, we knew that. Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but
we tout ourselves as, when we investigate, we do it scientifically, and basically we do. Yes, we have a couple people on our team that are sensitive, and we can take that and use that as a direction to go.
Mm-hmm.
We don't base everything on that. It's just like,
An additive.
it'd be like we carried a Ouija board under our arms and walked into an investigation. Everybody would just say, no, get out of here. We don't want that.
No.
So, everything that we do is scientifically based,
Mm-hmm.
but we also know that there are some things that science just cannot pinpoint. So that's when, if you have somebody that's sensitive, someone that is receptive to, different things, yes, that's fine to do that.
I think Dave is right. I think at all costs, no matter if we came to the table and we presented some of the best evidence ever, I just don't think the world would be ready for it.
Yeah.
Nope. Because you're always going to have the doubters out there that say, no, that's not real.
You replicated this or
the world. But here's the thing, guys. Once we're gone from this earth, there's always somebody that's going to take our place in doing what we do.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
So how do you think the next generation of paranormal investigators are going to be? Are they going to go through the same trials and tribulations with, science like we went through? Or do you think that the paranormal community is going to evolve into something bigger where everybody can understand it?
Well, I would hope that it's going to evolve into something bigger where everybody is open to it and everybody is open to understanding it better. But you always have the people that are going to be out there that are set in beliefs or they have a set mindset. And no matter what you bring to the table and present, they're not going to believe it.
It's like when being with MUFON, there's been a lot of strides made in recent years identifying craft and different different types of entities. But the thing with paranormal investigators, and I'm sorry, I'm probably going to step on some toes here. There are some paranormal investigators and teams out there that should not be doing what they're doing because they don't have an idea in hell
Yeah.
what is actually going on. And we will be the first to say we are not experts. We don't claim to be experts.
No.
But you know what? You got people that go out and they're touting their own thing. They're blowing their own horns, and they're out there. I'm sorry for the glamour and for the oh wow, you all are so great because you're paranormal investigators, or worse yet, hey, I'm so great because I'm a paranormal investigator. Bull crap.
Yeah, and they messed it up. They messed
it up for everybody.
They messed it up. They messed up the situation, and it takes. I had a place in Alabama, a house, and they messed it up so bad that I had to go there and I had to correct it all. And you know, an investigation that only took 2 hours took 6 hours afterwards. After I finished, and I'm saying, if you don't know what the heck you're doing, if you can't do it, leave it on. Let somebody else who does know what they're doing, and let them do it. Like, yeah. And there's no shame in saying I can't do it. There's no shame in saying that. No.
But you guys got to realize that half the teams that are out there, they don't know what they're getting themselves into anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't know the situation. They're just going into. Okay, the homeowner is the key to it all. The homeowner has got to lay everything on the line because when you come into a location, you got to be heads up with it. You got to be honest. You got to. If you lay one thing, if you don't say what's really going on, then you're throwing the whole team into a situation that possibly something that they can't handle.
Yeah.
So,
or dangerous because of that.
Yeah.
Really,
So the homeowner has to be truthful with everything.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, because of, especially like 10, 15 years ago when the media waves were just saturated with paranormal shows, and they think, oh wow, we go in and everything's going to happen once. We do a lot of public ghost hunts where we go out and explain what we do and so on and so forth. And I taught paranormal class at our local community college for several years. And first thing they say, oh, well, we want to see what's happening and expect things to be happening right then and there, right away. Well, they don't realize that when they do these shows on television, they might be there for 2, 3, 4 nights doing video work, and they condense it down into 47 minutes of airtime, not counting commercials, and they're expecting things, boom, 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 things just happening.
And that's never the way it works.
We sit in the dark and talk to nobody a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Well,
Or they
nobody is
these
better. Hey, I'd rather
use
talk to nobody.
Yeah, these homeowners.
Sometimes nobody's more interesting.
That's true.
Yeah, it's better. Yeah, talking to nobody is cool.
Use
know
the
how many
Ouija
times
board
I go
in their
the
house,
Yeah.
and you're going, what are you using a Ouija board? You didn't tell us this, right? And
We've
yeah,
done that.
We've had
And
some
kid-
at public investigations that they come in with a bunch of equipment that they've bought and they have no idea how to use it. And we're like, if you're buying a bunch of equipment and you don't have any idea how to use it, what good is it to you?
yeah,
Exactly.
You know, it's better to start with your own senses
yeah,
or buy one piece of equipment and learn that equipment really well so you know what to look for
yeah.
before you go buy in a whole bunch of pieces of equipment that you have no idea what to use.
Yep, and I always tell people, dude, don't go buy fucking $900 worth of paranormal equipment.
No, yeah,
Use what you got. Use what you're born with. Once you figure that out, once you figure all your senses, your eyes, your ears, your smell, your touch, especially your hair. If you don't have any like me, then it's best to get you some.
Yeah.
You know, use all those before you evolve to something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate to see what you're asking about in the future. I hope that everything isn't into the equipment and people, start losing the personal touch like you talked about, and
Yeah.
just start relying on the equipment to do everything, and them, that they kind of take second.
Well,
Or
the
they
biggest
put out
problem
a whole bunch of cat balls, and they said, Are you saying, what are you saying? Are you saying this and that? They go, and then when it comes to, they go, thank you. I go, all right, yeah, you're
Yeah.
expecting a cat ball to tell you what it is? Like,
I think
really?
you get a lot of people out there that when they go into an investigation, they're relying solely on the equipment, and the equipment is great in some cases, but it's only one piece of the investigation. You have to use your own senses combined with the equipment. Open possibilities. Use every avenue. Use music. Use familiarities, to people that may have lived there at one time, anything to try to connect.
Yeah.
The main thing is to be open-minded,
Mm-hmm.
and don't go in with a preconceived notion. I hate it when investigative teams come in and they say, you know what, your place is haunted and we're going to prove it to you. Well, my golly, it may not be. Or
Exactly.
there's nothing here, so we're going to show you that there's nothing here, and then, lo and behold, there is something there.
Or a piece of chalk gets thrown at their head, and they said, "Run!"
Run, dude!
Yeah. Yeah.
I tell you, if you're scared when you go on an investigation or something like that, you shouldn't be doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
And
You can be smart, and you can be aware of what's going on. But if you're scared,
And
just
if you
know
got
you're-
baggage,
Yes.
if you
Don't
got
even put
baggage
yourself
before
in there.
going in there, you shouldn't be going in there at all. If you got baggage going in there, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, I'm like, dude, I go into these locations, but do you know who the biggest skeptic is? And I always tell them that's me. Because even though I don't have one of these, or better yet, I don't have a voice recorder. But if I hear something, or if I see something, or if I smell something, my brain is going to analyze it. My brain is going to try to break it down, and my skepticism is going to jump in. That'd be the first thing to jump in. Did I really see that? Did I really hear that? Did that really happen? And once I analyze everything and come to a conclusion, it's like, that was real. That really happened.
Yeah.
And that is something that can't nobody take that away from you.
No.
Because that's something that you have in here, and you know what you heard, you know what you saw, you know what you smelled, and some of the best evidence ever are the ones that's never been captured on this or on this. And it's stuck right here, playing over and over again, reminding you on that great piece of evidence that you caught.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Keep
saying?
the
And
sense
I'm
of
like,
humor.
wow.
Keep the
Some of
sense
the
of humor.
evidence I've caught is unbelievable.
Yeah. But on the
Yeah.
other side of that coin, Terry, right, is that if I see something, if I feel something, if I see something, if I see a spirit, and if you don't believe me, that's not my responsibility to make you see what I see.
No, it's not. You're right.
So if you don't believe me, that's your problem, not mine.
Right.
And that's why I don't use anything when I go in there. This is what I use. It's just what I have here, and that's it.
Yeah.
And
is it-
Terry knows, and Terry's seen me work, and we work together in many places, and he's seen me how I work, and he knows I don't use anything, and all I do is myself and my senses and what I feel. If I feel something hanky, I said, okay, go over there, and he goes over there, and I said, okay, there it is, right there, and he goes, oh,
She's
what?
the boss.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean,
She's the bully too. She's the bully because she tells me. She don't ask me. She tells me, go over there. Go over there. I'm like, give me a minute. I only got 2 legs. Go over there. I'm like, okay, I'm going. Give me a second.
You-
It's just,
when,
oh,
when,
man.
when I'm doing that, I'm concentrating, right? And when I see something, I said, it's only split second when I feel it. And then, yeah, sometimes it goes away, right? If you're going to, you have to go there. You got go there, go there, go there, like
But you know
right
what?
now. And I said, take a picture, take a picture.
I can be honest with you guys, and 2 more questions. I'm gonna get you guys out of here. She's never been wrong on any of the things that we've done. The old lady that died in my apartment,
Mm-hmm.
I asked my next door neighbor. I just happened to ask him, "Hey, was there an old lady living here?" She's like, "Oh yeah, she died." But I don't know how long she was here when they found her, but they immediately moved all her stuff out of the apartment. And I'm like, wow, Irene, you hit that one on the spot.
Yeah.
That was, and he didn't know what the hell I was talking about. I just happened to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a little boy too there too,
A little boy, and I don't even know the little boy. He must have been the best little boy ever, because he never ever I never acknowledged that he was here. I didn't know he was here. He could have, Lord knows, done whatever. I mean, I don't care as long as he don't mess with me.
But
I'm
I
good.
told you that you got to cleanse your apartment before you move in there. And I told you that over and over again. You didn't listen to me, dear. You don't
I'm a
listen to me.
man. Do I ever listen?
You don't listen to me. You don't listen to me, right?
I live
Guys.
with the sensitive, so I'm used to being told it's there, here,
I don't like being bullied. Oh shit. Oh man. All right, guys. One more question. I'm gonna get you guys out of here. And this question is going to be for all 3 of y'all individually, because I know everybody's different. We're going to start with Dave. Dave, where would you like to go on your paranormal bucket list? Anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world, the UK.
Anywhere. Or
the UK.
outside the world. Anywhere you want to go.
Well, I'd go outside the world too, but if it's in the world, it's the UK. Scotland, Ireland, England, Wales. I'd love to investigate some of the castles that are over there.
Dude,
I would even go to Germany.
Yeah. I did not know that. Hey, what's his name from? The guy from Toledo, California. He did not like the English. He was from
Scotland. Scotland.
He was from
Scotland.
Scotland.
Yeah.
Scottish
Oh,
don't like
dude,
the
I
English.
did not know that the Scots did not like the English.
No, they don't.
No,
If you're gonna
they
go
have
to
no
England,
love lost there.
if you're gonna go to England, look me up and we'll go together, because I got lots of good contacts in England.
Yeah.
I'll use them all. I'd love to
in
go
Scotland too,
Well, hey, I did not know the Scots didn't like the English. I knew the history, but I didn't think it was that bad.
It was bad. It's bad. It's bad.
There's a lot of animosity there.
Worse if you're
Yeah.
Irish.
Yeah.
And that's because the British men know that the Scottish men have better looking legs for the kilts. So
And they go, woo!
you don't know where that came from. I'm sorry,
Well,
I don't know where that came from.
I don't know if William Wallace had a big part to play in that. Well, who knows? People say he exists. People say he didn't exist. I mean, I don't know.
He existed, just not as it's played in the movies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He was.
I heard the only reason why he hated the English is because they killed his wife. I don't know how true that is. I don't know if the movie got that part correct.
I don't know.
Continue your question.
There's a lot of folk legend mixed in with reality as far as the movie went.
Yeah.
Yeah. They said he killed 60 men in 1 hour. Do you believe that?
I don't know. With what he had available weapon-wise at the time, that'd be kind of hard to do in 1 hour.
Yeah.
Right. He a killing machine.
He must have been on steroids.
All right, who's next? Who's next? Where else would you guys like to go?
I agree with Dave. The UK. I'm a member of the Ghost Club of London, England, and that's where we had our the article that was done in their journal. It was through that. And when I get the journal, it talks about, oh, we're going to go on this investigation to this castle that was built in 1163 or whatever. And I'm going, damn, I'm not there. I'm here. I'm across the pond.
We have old things, but not
We
that
have
old.
old things, but they're not as old.
Yeah, not that
But-
old.
Yeah, it would be great to do some investigating over in the
You
UK.
know,
I agree
yeah,
wholeheartedly.
UK is pretty crazy. But you know what? This country was discovered allegedly, for you history buffs, was discovered before. What's the guy name that came on the ship?
Columbus.
The Vikings discovered America, not.
Yeah, it was discovered before Columbus.
Mhm.
Yep.
Now, is
Yeah.
it possible that this country is a lot older than what we think it is?
Yeah, I believe it
Well,
is.
if
I
you
think
if you
so.
read the Book of Mormon, that is basically telling about the people that lived here in the Americas, that Jesus came here to teach them. So, and yeah, I mean, it's been proven that there's people have existed here for thousands of years.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, most of them probably came across the Bering Strait down through Alaska, Canada, and that way. So, sure.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you guys know Bill Carson. Have you guys heard of Billy Carson?
Uh-uh.
If you get a chance, look him up on YouTube. Very interesting guy. He talks about so many different possibilities on how things happened back in those days.
Mhm.
And he's got a lot of facts. Not too many fictions, but he got a lot of facts. I think you guys should check him out. Billy Carson, very well educated man that knows his history. And whether you guys believe him or not, it would definitely open up some red flags. Or not red flag. It would definitely make you say,
Mhm.
when you guys are listening to him, because he's pretty cool at what he does. He has a lot of degrees in archaeology and history and stuff, so he knows his stuff. All right, where would you like to go, ma'am?
Mine is easy. I would like to go back to Salem, Massachusetts, and the witch trials, because I found out my family goes back to the witch trials. My 10th grade grandmother was hung in March of 1692. Another one was crushed to death. One uncle died during interrogation, which means they tortured him to death. So I had on both sides.
So you are a generational witch.
And I'm the 13th. That's what's funny. Generation wise, I'm the 13th person here.
Scoot over a little bit.
Oh no, you don't want to get a witch mad, right?
But here's the question. Here's the thing that I have for you, my friend, is do you dabble?
No, I never have. I've always
Why?
had, like I say, dreams and different things. Didn't really know why. I just had them, experience them, talk to my family members when they would happen.
So you've never took it no farther than what it is now.
Mm-mm.
Do you ever have that urge?
I've dabbled in divination. I mean, I'm pretty good with a pendulum.
Pendulums
Tarot
are good.
cards. I'm kind of this and that. Crystal
Yeah,
crystal reading, yeah, a little bit, but pendulum, I've been pretty good with that.
I have it. My daughter, both daughters are sensitive, but my youngest daughter is sometimes more sensitive than me, or sometimes when we're on investigations, I can know where something happened and she can see it.
Yeah.
We
Is
stick
your
together.
daughter a loner?
Yes.
Do she have many? She don't have many friends, does she? She sticks more
Well,
to
yeah.
herself.
But she does do the cards and different things. So she's done things I haven't, but she has.
Do she have many friends?
Why'd she come? She's sitting off to the side. Maybe.
Do you have a lot of friends, Amy?
Do you have a lot of friends?
I'm trying to get her to be social.
Not the ones you pay.
No. Does she have more friends that are non-living than living?
Would you say that?
No,
This
I
is
have
Amy.
I have plenty of friends that are living.
What about the non-living?
Okay. How do they feel about what you do?
They're pretty cool with it. I mean, I'm pagan, so it's different for me versus them. But usually, after explaining kind of what I do and what I believe, they're just like, okay. I mean, even
it goes back to the moment we were talking about earlier. Society is so fast that they don't take time to stop and realize what's going on in front of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you guys think that's a good thing or a bad thing? Starting with the young
Starting with the youngling. Okay.
You're the youngest, unfortunately.
I think it depends.
Depends on what?
So many things.
Like,
It can be a great thing. It can be a horrible thing. It really depends on where you are, who you're with, all that good stuff.
interesting.
I agree
Now-
with her.
Do you agree with her,
Yep.
Irene?
Yep.
Interesting.
Because I'm more pagan now.
Well,
And I agree with her.
I mean, the pegging part is fine, but I'm just trying to figure out being aware of your surroundings
Mhm.
when you are a gifted individual. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And that's
I
something
think
that I don't think a lot of people do. That
I
they're
think
not
you should
aware.
be more observant. I think you should be more observant.
I agree. I think you should take a time out and observe what's going on.
And if the
Yeah.
street that you
If you
walk
have a
on
gift.
is dangerous and you feel that, no, I'm not going to do this. You listen to yourself and you do what you feel. And a lot of people don't do that. They don't listen to themselves,
Do
right?
she have hard times walking in cemeteries?
No, she actually is quite comfortable in cemetery. She's usually the one that helps me on Memorial Day and things like that when I'm, placing certain things in cemeteries.
That's cool. Because I've noticed that a lot of people that are gifted that actually speak and talk to the non-living usually don't like to go in there. They usually like to, well, you don't count.
See?
Especially the young ones. The young ones that that sometimes have a hard time in believing in their gifts, and they're not knowing, and they don't have that mentor to show them the ways, But hey, thank God she has a mom that been down that road and understands it, and able to help.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty cool.
I think society in general, no matter if you're talking about paranormal or whatever, society in general needs to just stop once in a while and take a look around and experience what's around them.
Mhm.
When I was growing up, I mean, there wasn't a whole hell of a lot to do, and so we played with friends outside till it got dark at night, and just things like that. And growing up, I know, because my parents went through the depression of the 30s, that there were tough times, but I didn't realize it because there was always a roof over my head. There was always food on the table. And, now the food might be hot dogs 2 or 3 nights a week, but you know what? It was there. people nowadays, especially kids, but even their parents, do not know how to just stop and think about what they've got, how lucky they are,
And appreciate it.
and appreciate it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, and the one thing that kids today don't understand is a lot of them do, but a lot of them don't understand that nature plays a big part in their life.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, because my son always asks me, Dad, why do you stop and just look at the moon? I don't look at the moon just because it's there.
Mhm.
There is a reason why. And because I'm taking it all in. I'm enjoying the moment.
Mhm.
And if I get a feeling, that's a feeling of enjoyment, then I'm able to see this. You know, because a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people, like I say, this world is so fast, they don't take time out to look at nothing.
Mhm.
That's
And it's like, and it's mind-boggling because, like you said, in the 80s, when I was growing up, dude, we took time out to enjoy the simplest things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We watched the sunrise. We
Yeah.
watched the crickets. We watched we listened to the birds. There is
Yeah.
so much in nature that, I mean, and I could be wrong. You might guys want to disagree, but nature and the paranormal are somehow, some way connected.
Very much.
Yeah.
Very much so.
I believe it.
I mean,
And
when I was growing up, I was outside all the time. I loved
all
it.
the time.
And now my favorite things, why I love this time of year, is I can sit on my porch, have my shoes off, which I hate having shoes on. I want to be barefoot all the time, if I could, and just sitting on the porch, you know, feeling the wind and the breeze, and just taking things in.
You're
Well,
lucky. You're
Hey,
Some of
lucky.
the calmest
You're lucky.
moments of my life were growing up on my grandparents' farm. I used to go up out of the basement and sit on their back steps and do nothing, just let the wind blow through my
just
hair
let
and
it go.
listen.
And what's so crazy about it? If you're doing all that, there's no telling what you might catch, what you might see, what you might hear.
Yeah.
And the feeling is unbelievable, guys. It's an unbelievable feeling knowing that you just seen something that your mind can't process. You don't know what it is, or you don't know what it was, but you saw it.
Yeah. And it stays with you
And
forever.
it stays with you forever.
You're
That's
lucky
like
you do that. You're lucky you can do that. I don't want to do that.
that's like a child first time seeing the sunrise or seeing something spectacular.
Mhm.
Mhm.
They're just gonna look at it in such amazement. You know,
Yeah.
I remember sitting in my front yard, and my little cousin was like maybe 2 years old, and I'm holding the baby in my arms, and I'm pointing at the moon, and I say, "Look, the moon." She's two. She's never seen the moon before.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she points at it and say, "Moon, moon, moon." And then stuff like that stays in your head forever.
Yeah. It does.
Well, like you should.
Forever.
You know,
You
I
can
spent
carry-
a lot of time
You know,
outside.
you can
Yeah.
But the
go
reason why I spent a lot of time outside, the parents locked the doors and locked me out when they wouldn't let me in. I said, "Mom, let me in."
You need to play.
Fine.
Hey.
I'll stay out here tonight.
Terry, I give you an invitation to do that because I'm not doing that.
Doing what?
I'm not going to do that. You know my country's very haunted. You know I'm not going to go outside and do that. I don't even want to even walk to the grocery store anymore. I can't.
Well, we'll have to take an Uber.
Yeah, there you go.
Take an Uber. All right, guys. Hey, man, we've been going for 2 hours and 24 minutes. And it seems like
It's fun. That's why.
It's really fun, man. I really enjoy talking with you guys.
It's
I
been
learned,
awesome.
Yeah, we've had a
I
lot of
learned,
fun.
I learned so much just by listening to you guys. And whether you guys think I'm crazy or not, but I hope you guys learn something from me.
You're our
We're all
kind of-
crazy
yeah,
together.
Like,
You're our kind of crazy.
We're doing-
don't
we're
tell
doing this
anybody, right?
crazy.
Don't tell anybody. Like,
But hey, it has been an honor having you guys on the show. And I hope I did not disappoint you guys, because I tell you guys this is going to be a very
Great.
exciting podcast.
We enjoyed it.
We
But with that
enjoyed
being
it very much.
Come up to Missouri sometime.
Yeah.
I should have went up there 2 weeks ago, but I got left.
Uh-oh.
Oh, well,
Well, if you're ever up in our area again, you got an open invitation.
Well, thank you. Hey, tell the world how to get a hold of you guys.
Well, they can get a hold of us through our email at ghosthuntingsedalia@gmail.com or on our Facebook page, which is Sedalia Ghost Hunters,
Our Instagram. And
and Instagram as well.
All right. Well, hey, man. Appreciate you guys coming on the show, chatting with us. Man, like I say, I really enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed it too. I hope this would be a
Very
podcast that you guys remember, that will remember for a very long time.
Yeah.
Terry,
Definitely.
you got cotton in your mouth.
Yeah. But with that being said, any closing statements that you guys might have? Here's the time.
Mr. B.
keep an open mind to everything.
Yes.
Keep an open mind to everything.
Open
positive.
possibilities.
Be positive, have fun, and enjoy life.
And always stick your
Life
finger
is-
in and always stick your finger in the light socket. Because if you
Yep.
don't stick your finger in the light socket, you will never know the answers.
Need something to wake you up.
Need something to wake you up. That's the truth. Whether people agree or disagree with me about sticking fingers in light sockets, but if you don't do it, you
never know.
never know.
He
Never
got
know.
singed so many times.
Well, I think
Terry,
I would know.
You're lucky you still got a finger.
You never know. But hey, guys, again, appreciate you guys coming on the show. I will be sending some clips out for the podcast. Feel free, once I post them, feel free to share them with whoever that does your media. They're more than welcome to take them and share them and do whatever they do with them. I don't know. But,
Okay.
but it's been an interesting show, guys, and I hope to hear from you soon.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
Bye.
And bye
No
from Japan.
problem. Hey guys, this is Terry with NSPS TV Paranormal and Irene from Tokyo, Japan. Hey guys, peace.
Yeah.
Peace.
Bye
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Bye.
Why come I can't do that?
You can't do the ending.
No, it won't let me.
Must be something wrong with StreamYard.
Yeah. Oh, God, really?
StreamYard or Facebook, right? One of the two.
The ones who died with blame. Shame the ones who died with blame. Shame the ones who died with blame. Shame the ones who died with blame.